he was lying on his back, not moving, and like presume his eyes fading black was like him closing his eyes, I guess. And then, like 10 seconds later, he just gets up and looks around, and he's like, "I've decided that I want to live."
Time for a tactical survival. Yes.
And he like comically runs and jumps like an action movie, screaming. And I'm like, dude, where was this energy like 10 seconds ago?
Too much energy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Too Much ENERGON, a podcast where me and my associate talk about the very important and very adult TV show Beast Wars, animated in the 90s. I am one of your hosts, NeoKal.
And I am one of your other hosts, Christopher Siege.
How are you this fine day? Night.
Day-night. Day-night.
Same thing.
Pretty good, you know. Been up for a long time now, but I got that what I recently coined as that big E energy.
The big E energy. The big ENERGON energy.
Yeah, I come into these podcasts pretty tired after having a long day, but by the end of it, I'm jazzed up. I'm rejuvenated. It's all that Beast Wars energy, the big E energy.
It is, and I lied in the intro. Beast Wars is not as serious as I made it seem.
I don't know. I think someone might challenge you to a duel over that.
Maybe a very serious duel for leadership.
Yes. I was about to say, much like what is happening in this episode.
Because we are watching Beast Wars Part 2. So the second episode in the series. It aired on September 17th, 1996. A day after the Part 1 came out, but not in Canada.
Nope. In Canada, it aired a week later.
We got to see it a week later.
Yep.
And that's good enough, damn it.
Cheers. Yep, the episode opens exactly where Part 1 left off. We're at the little bridge near the Axelon. And
face me, Optimus.
Yep. Optimus and Dinobot look like they're about to square off, and Dinobot is all like, I, Dinobot, challenge you for the leadership of the Maximals.
Yep,
the
so
winner
the winner shall lead.
And the loser, well, it's a long way down as he looks over the edge to this giant chasm.
Yeah. It seems like certain death. Good thing neither of them can fly, so that the consequences of losing are real.
And it's a good thing, characters dying in this show
is a thing.
Has finality to it.
But young me did not know that. Young me was like, "Oh shit, it's gonna go down." Yeah. Velociraptor versus riding that 90s energy of dinosaurs.
Yeah,
because when did Jurassic Park come out?
So this is basically Jurassic Park versus Congo.
Wow, one of those being a much more famous film than the other. Not to pick on Jurassic Park or anything,
right? Funny enough, though, they're both of those movies are based on books by author Michael Crichton.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I forgot that Congo was a book.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Sometimes the universe just lines up and you make jokes that are more relevant than you'd think.
Yep.
And sometimes a talking velociraptor challenges a talking gorilla to a samurai duel on a bridge.
Yeah, and Optimus is like, I don't want to fight you. And Dinobot's like, well, too bad, buddy. You don't have a choice. Because you guys aren't crossing until we do this.
Yeah, and Optimus has got his buddies on the side, Rhinox, Rat Trap, Cheetor. And Rhinox is like, hey, don't we get a say in this? And for some reason, Rat Trap is like kind of like hits him lightly, and he's like, hey, let Chopper Face and the Boss Monkey duke it out.
No fur off of my tail. Cheetor doesn't like that though.
Oh no, he does not. Also, he's not a monkey, but whatever.
No, he's an ape.
And I never ever making mistakes about what kind of animals things are on the show.
No, never.
No, never.
Legitimate journalism.
That's right. We're right about everything here. So I think we get to say that Cheetor gets to say some bullshit here.
Yeah.
What does he say? You want a piece of the stripes? Or wait, no, he doesn't have stripes. You want a piece of the bad kitty?
You want a piece of the spots?
You want some spots? You mess with us bots, you get the spots. I don't even know, and it doesn't matter.
You fuck with this bot and you get spots.
Yeah.
On your genitals.
Ooh. that was dark. Hey, I'll have you know that Cheetor is a virgin. How dare you?
I don't know. He is a college. I mean, you went to college. You know how it is.
Did I? I dropped out of college. I know how it is. Tell you guys.
Hey, you technically went to college, though.
You're not wrong. I did go.
I went for 2 days and got laid 6 times.
High five!
High five with both hands.
Oh, speaking of a high five, Optimus turns around and puts a hand out, and he's like, "Cool your circuits, Cheetor. I wouldn't send anyone to do anything I wasn't willing to do myself." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, you don't need to duel anyone. You could back up, and all of you could shoot him." But that's not honorable, I suppose.
Yeah. And, yeah, so,
they bicker.
Yeah, they bicker, and, Optimus is basically just like, oh, this is fucking stupid, man. We're Maximals. You're a Predacon. Fuck off.
Yeah, you can join us. Or fuck off.
Yeah.
But if you join us, though, you're not leading.
Yeah.
And Dinobot's like, but I want to.
Yeah. Because I'm a Predacon, I should lead.
Well,
bitch.
He says, he's like, well, I will lead as the Maximal leader, and in anticipation of my new role, I've already reprogrammed my activation code. And he yells, Dinobot maximize.
Yep, and he lets out
some shit.
Yeah, and he lets out this like scream, and then transforms in his dope ass transformation sequence, and the music picks up.
Oh yeah, it's getting hype. And Optimus yells out too, Optimus Primal, maximize! And he kind of like roars like a gorilla, and we get to see their weird ass weapons.
Yeah, Dinobot, what is clearly his raptor tail has split open into like a helicopter type thing.
Whirly tail device?
Yeah, a whirly tail, if you will.
I'm sure that does lots of damage. But
also
more importantly, he has a sword.
He has a sword that looks like a rapier with a with the blade that looks like it's spinning, like almost like a drill bit. A drill rapier, if you will.
A drill rapier. It looks like it would fuck you up. Presumably what part of him is that sword?
I had the toy. The sword is inside the whirly tail.
Oh, so maybe that's, if we were thinking in terms of like biology, that would be like his like spine or of the tail?
Yeah.
Huh. It's kind of rad. And,
I never thought about it before, but yeah, that's probably what it is.
And I like how Optimus doesn't have any weapons, but he still like gives him like the come at me like fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, uh-oh. Gorilla seems man, he's even like flourishing. Like Dinobot, like takes on a fencer stance and
I
okay,
was
his
just
blade
gonna
clips
point
through.
out. Yeah.
Never mind. His blade like clips through his entire torso there. Only for a second.
Barely noticeable.
Hey, they're still figuring this 3D thing out. There's a lot of moving parts going on here. I forgive them. And then ho! Optimus has 2 swords. Like, they're pretty fucking rad. They're like curved sabers.
Yeah.
Scimitars? Yeah, let's go with scimitar.
Yeah.
Speaking of gorillas holding things.
Yeah, I mean, much to what you were saying in the last episode about how, like, why Optimus doesn't just wield a gun when he's in beast form. He totally could, because, like, when he transforms, his robot hands are just his gorilla hands.
Yeah. They're actually the same thing.
Yeah, there's literally no reason why he can't just hold guns in beast form.
He can't use his like arm cannon. I understand that part, right? But he can hold Cheetor's gun. We just
I
saw
was just gonna say.
we just saw Rhinox using one of Cheetor's guns.
Yeah.
Oh, that changes everything going forward. I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Podcast over, folks.
Boom, 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 boom.
Well, it was fun while it lasted, you know. 1 and a bit of an episode. Wink.
Fish and mailed.
There it is.
There it is.
The weekly Metal Gear reference.
What did it say as it slowly like formed, like Pime Pterodox? As like the numbers switched back and forth in Metal Gear Solid 3?
Oh, yeah.
Like Pime Pterodox, and then if you let it spell out Time Paradox, you would actually get the game over, but you could like hit continue before that. I haven't played that in like years, but I'm very sure there was a Pime Pterodox joke there.
Yeah, it happens when you if you early on in that game, you have a boss fight against a young Revolver Ocelot, and he gets knocked out at the end of it. But if you decide to, as I of course did, the first time I played through the game many years ago, if you decide to just shoot him in the head, you'll get a game over screen. That will eventually, the words will change to Time Paradox.
Yeah, the letters and rearrange themselves and change until it says Time Paradox. Does it do that on every game over screen?
Only if it doesn't if you die, but if you like cause the death of a character that appears in a later game somehow, then yes.
Oh, huh. Well, today I learned Metal Gear Solid 3 lore. That's why you came to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
but
that's
don't
why
worry, we'll never mention anything from Metal Gear Solid again.
No, and we will. We guarantee we will always stay 100% on topic about Beast Wars going forward.
It's a very important show. It's serious. Speaking of serious, Cheetor, he wants to help Optimus, and he yells "Maximize!" But for one of the first times in the show, other people can stop you from transforming if they interrupt your voice command.
Yep.
Because Rat Trap claps his mouth shut, and he's like, "Clamp it, kitty! Nailing the chopper from behind won't settle anything." And I'm like, "Yeah, won't it?" No? Am I the only one that's not above that? Even Rat Trap is arguing against it?
Can't just throw some marbles under his feet so he just like slips and comically goes off the edge.
Oh, we'll get some of that. Even Rhinox is like it or not, we gotta let him finish.
It's like, do you though?
Do you? And then we get one of the best battles, like 3D animation.
It is one of the best battles in this show.
Yeah,
a show that actually has some pretty dope fisticuffs.
It really does. like, what happens here? Dinobot charges at him, and Optimus kind of like ducks down and throws him over his shoulder.
Yeah,
That would be a good time to shoot him.
yeah. Dinobot like leaps into the air
Whoa! What
and and does a bunch of like front flips and spins.
That's wild. And
Yeah.
like straight leg, like Mortal Kombat kicks Optimus in the head. And then part of the bridge, the rock bridge, like breaks away. And then Optimus is like, "It's on," and Dinobot's like Donkey Kong, and he punches him. Uh-oh. Did I cut out?
No, I'm just
Oh, okay, good.
I'm just
I thought that my Donkey Kong joke wasn't funny for a moment.
Well, I'm sorry.
But that would never happen.
Never.
But yeah, he Optimus he just punches him.
Yeah, he like clocks Dinobot in the face with the hilt of one of his swords.
Yeah,
And
he could have sliced his head off, but this is Optimus. Even though he's holding swords, he punched Dinobot. I like how Dinobot's like eyes like go all wonky and his like head rolls around. Presume it kind of looks like Dinobot was knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of falls over in this comical way. But Optimus puts a blade to his throat, and Dinobot's basically like, I'm still alive. You should finish me off. And Optimus is like, that's not how we Maximals do things, and extends a hand to him. And Dinobot...
And that will have to change!
And his eyes turn green, and he looks up at him, and what does he do?
Fucking shoots eye lasers at him. Yep. At Optimus's face, momentarily blinding him and knocking him backwards.
Yep.
I'm just saying, 1,000 things wouldn't have worked there, but eye lasers did.
You know what did? Fucking eye lasers.
Especially if your opponent doesn't know you have them.
And so Optimus is temporarily blinded and starts falling back and falls off, starts like losing his balance on the edge of the bridge and falls back. But he's able to catch himself with his legs.
Yeah, he kind of like holds on. And as Dinobot looms over him, because Dinobot stands back up and grabs his drill rapier, as Christopher has dubbed it, his sword, it turns to Rhinox, and like Rhinox turns his head away. And I'm like, you can intervene now. He just turns his head away as if like, oh, well, he lost an honorable duel. I guess he's just dead. And I'm like, no, dude. I don't know. I like to think I'm honorable, but I mean, I would have shot Dinobot here. So
I guess this asshole's in charge now.
Call me Big Papa. Oh God, he's worse than he's worse than Fearless Leader. But he's honorable because as Optimus is like slipping, he reaches down and grabs him and like throws him back onto the bridge.
Yeah, he one-handedly grabs him by his chest plate and just throws him back onto the bridge. Dinobot's a powerful motherfucker.
He's got some biceps on him.
Yep. I dig it.
His arms are his raptor legs. Cool.
Yeah.
I think his robot form is much bigger than his like Velociraptor form. Is this
some
some
G1 Megatron shenanigans?
Is there some mass shenanigans going on there?
Yep.
So yeah, Optimus is like, hey, why'd you do that? You'd won. Dinobot's like, well, you slipped. To defeat you in such a manner would be lacking in honor. I would not have earned the right to lead. So, I like him. That's fucking rad.
He also prefers to beat his opponents the old-fashioned way, and then he charges up his
Eye lasers?
his drill rapier.
Oh. I sounded a little too excited.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like,
You're right. Whoa, he
You're
can
like,
charge his sword?
there's some sincere disappointment there by the sound of it.
So sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I prefer to beat my opponents the old-fashioned way, and like you said, he charges up his drill rapier and he yells, "Brutally!"
Yeah, and they get into a sword fight.
Kind of a comical, weird back and forth swashbuckling sword fight here.
Yep. And Optimus is like, for a Predacon, you have qualities I could like. And Dinobot's just like, yeah, you're pretty cool too. I shall have you recycled with full honors.
Recycled, so turned into like aluminum plating or something.
New components, replacement components for when they potentially / inevitably end up damaging shit in their base.
What? Why would they damage shit inside the base?
I know, when they have a very finite amount of resources.
But maybe they have a replicator?
Maybe?
No, that would have fixed a lot more problems than they run into.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know. They make a lot of like magic transformy bullshit. Speaking of magic bullshit, the Predacons are here somehow? Like they're just watching?
Yeah, I mean the Maximals ran away from their fight, so presumably the Predacons, once they recovered, just started following them.
Okay, that makes sense why they're not too far behind.
Yeah.
And what does Optimus say here? Or Optimus, what does Megatron say here?
Well, yeah, that's just Prime. Yes. Oh wait, wrong line.
Optimus and the traitor Dinobot engaged in battle. That's
Scorponok's like, who do you think's gonna win? And Tarantulas is like, the winner isn't what interests me. And Megatron's like, nor me, no. How much more preferable it would be if they both lost. Yes. And we get another Transformers roll call. As the
yes, we do.
As the Predacons terrorize.
Yeah, so presumably after some amount of time in their beast mode, they can transform back into... It's kind of like recharging their batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their Energon field dampeners.
Yeah. And Rat Trap sees them do this, thankfully, before they start shooting. And he says, yo!
Yeah,
go ahead.
I like his reaction. He looks over and his like eye kind of twitch up and his eyes kind of bug out a bit, and he's like, yo!
Yo! Shift your scanners due east there, pals!
This party's got big time crashes!
I like how it cuts to the Predacons, and they're all just awkwardly standing there, already transformed on this little ledge.
Also,
did you see that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, actually. Also, holy shit, look at how fucking big Megatron is.
Yeah. Like, at least twice the mass of any of the others. But because he's also, like, wide, like, he thick. He got some thick legs on him.
Yeah, he's taking up, like, a third of this platform himself.
He's, like, 2 to 3 times more massive than than the other Predacons. Wow, Jesus. Wow. Whoa, way bigger. That can't be right. Has he always been like that, like 3 times as big as them? Not tall, but like large? Jesus. Like they all go to his like knees except Pterosaur, who's unusually tall. Some of them are bending down to shoot. Okay. But yeah, they go to his hips. They're actually half as tall as he is. Wow, bizarre.
I feel like the size difference changes as the show goes on. Like
Yes,
Megatron is always bigger than all the others, but
not that he's not that much of a behemoth because he faces off against Dinobot, and he's bigger than Dinobot, but like he faces off against Optimus and Dinobot, and even though Megatron's bigger, he's not like Jesus twice as big as them.
Yeah.
So sizes of the Transformers may vary as the show it grounds itself.
Your size may vary.
And I need to screen cap them all awkwardly standing there. One sec. But anyways, they shoot, and
actually I might make that the show art
of them all looking at each other awkwardly.
Yeah.
That's pretty great, actually. They just turn and look at each other awkwardly. I've never noticed that before. Like they're all just waiting for something to happen. Are you screen capping that?
Yeah, I just did.
But that's good.
Yeah, I'll make that. Listeners, what we're talking about is the
size
show
difference and the awkward pause. Yeah.
Yeah. What will be the show art for this episode. So if you're listening to it on Spotify, you'll see it right in your player.
And they wait, and Megatron's like, well, fire! And so they do, and like logical, strategic robots they shoot at the bridge, right?
Yeah, totally. Except they don't. They shoot at Optimus and Dinobot, and Cheetor yells out, "Optimus!" And Optimus notices the missiles incoming, this barrage of missiles heading his way. Like, how could you not notice those? Like, how could you not hear them coming and look over and be like, well,
presumably
shit.
They're moving faster than the speed of sound.
Sure.
That's why we hear them, because the camera's behind them, but they don't hear them because they're in front of the missiles.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Also, they're dueling.
Explanation that I have.
They're dueling.
So Optimus is like beast mode, and then he like clotheslines Dinobot off of the bridge. And the missiles,
really does.
Yeah, straight up. And the missiles go.
And they both fly off the edge, presumably.
Yeah, and the missiles go sailing past the bridge,
hitting nothing. Nothing at all. They just fly off into the distance. They won't do anything.
Never to be seen or heard from again.
Nope. And presumably neither do. So, small discrepancy. It shows Optimus and Dinobot clearly fall right off the stone bridge.
Yep.
And Cheetor and Rhinox even look down as if they're watching him fall. I'm glad. Like, what are they looking at? They look over the edge as if they're like watching them fall. And the camera even like zooms down to the rocky cliff, and there's some water, and there's like a river and stuff. And they kind of both look sad. And then it shows Optimus again. It's not like they're moving fast. I don't know how he didn't. How did they think they felt? Whatever. They're robots in disguise. It shows Optimus hanging by his gorilla feet. And
And he's like
with
weirdly snarky here for some reason. He's like, if you guys aren't doing anything, a little speed would be prime.
right.
It's like, dude, like they thought you fell. Like
You look how dumb they are, Optimus. They were just staring into like the into the river below. They closed their eyes in a moment of silence.
yeah.
And apparently the Predacons thought this too, because now they're just behind rocks. I don't know where those rocks came from. They weren't. Hold up. Those rocks weren't on the cliff before.
Oh, they weren't.
Also, they're not being shot at. So I don't know why they took cover. And Megatron's like, quickly, make them fall. Shoot the bridge. And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Besides, I mean, hiding behind rocks is a maximal play in this show.
It really, really, really is.
So, like, what are Megatron and Scorponok doing here?
And why did they stop shooting momentarily? And why are they behind rocks that weren't there before? All of these answers and more will never be answered. G-Tor, maximize. Do you like the way Rhinox like says his like a question?
Yeah. He's always puts a
like,
question mark on the maximize.
He's kind of like, Rhinox, maximize. And then he goes, like a rhino, presumably. Do rhinoceroses make that sound?
That sound is a very stock, just wild animal sound.
It sounds very like, I swear I've heard that many times before.
I can actually name one very specific example.
Oh,
what
is it?
The 1995 Tim Allen Christmas movie, The Santa Claus.
Huh. There's that exact soundbite?
That exact soundbite is used for one of the reindeer when Tim Allen first gets the Santa suit and he has the sleigh on the roof of his house.
No shit.
Yeah. Rhinox, maximize.
As if he's like testing it out to see if it works.
Rhinox Maximus.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
I like how he like taps Rat Trap on the head, and he's like,
and Rat Trap's basically just like, nah, fuck that, I don't care. And then Rhinox like grabs him by the scruff of his neck, and Rat Trap's just like
glares at him.
all right.
Yeah. And then we cut back to a dangerous scene. Dinobot being held by the leg, still dangling off the bridge, the rock bridge. He starts shorting out.
And he's all like, the Energon field buildup. I am shorting out. Just so in case you're, a kid coming into this episode without having seen the first one, just so you know what's going on.
Yeah, they continuously kind of state the obvious.
Yeah.
It's very much a kid's show that they want to hook you no matter what episode you first see, right?
Yeah, totally. And, it makes sense. And it's usually like, sometimes it's a little stilted, but not all. Most of the time it kind of it works.
It's fine. It's fine, yeah. But as adults watching it throughout the show, it's like, yes, we know what the problem is. So like even by episode 5 and 6, and they're like, huh? Energon shortage, we have to transform. We're like, all of the characters know this, but we understand.
It's like, oh really? Are you sure about that?
Cool. Why don't you stay in robot form and see what happens?
See what happens, yeah.
Well, the viewers don't know that yet.
Yeah. Oh,
but
that's true.
They've mentioned, we haven't seen it. The viewers don't know necessarily what the repercussions are, or have they said?
No, they've said that their robot forms will begin to short out after a few minutes exposure, and the Predacon computer was all like, will result in permanent damage. But beyond that, we haven't learned exactly what the effect is.
Optimus is hanging off the bridge, and he's like, "Hey, hang on! You can't transform in this position."
It'd be funny. It'd be funny to see him try. He just like immediately, just like his foot slips out of Optimus's hand as he transforms.
And he falls as a velociraptor.
Yeah. And Optimus is just like, no.
Yeah. And Dinobot's like, "Let me fall, save yourself." I'm surprised he didn't start like kicking at his hand. Dinobot really wants death. Have you noticed that?
Why doesn't Dinobot just eye laser Optimus's hand?
Well, it's because he does want to be saved. You know what I mean? He secretly does. Have you noticed that like everything is to the death with Dinobot? Like, Megatron, I challenge you to a battle to the death. Optimus, I challenge you to a battle to the death. And it's like he's very samurai or Viking like.
Yeah.
Like it's honor in death or bust.
Yeah, there's no middle ground.
No.
With him.
Maybe he'll mellow out, but if he lives long enough to see the more mellow side of him. Speaking of mellow, Optimus is like, "Well, where's the honor in just dropping you?" Because, I mean, he was just saved by Dinobot earlier. Wow, he is strong. It shows Optimus like straining as he's holding both of their body weight with one of his gorilla toes.
Yeah. One finger, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true strength.
Yeah.
And Dinobot's like, "You're falling. You have to drop me." And Optimus is like, "Then we both go." And so they do. But they're caught by an even bigger guy. Sorry, go ahead.
Which is kind of irresponsible, really, because it's like, so just to uphold your principles, like you're willing to deprive your team of their leader, and not only that, now make them even more grossly outnumbered by the enemy.
Good point. It's like sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and yeah, that's maybe Dinobot was right then. Just like drop me and save yourself, because like both of you dying doesn't
help
anything.
anyone.
No, that's a good point. It is honorable, but like maybe not the most logical. A Vulcan wouldn't make that decision.
No.
And Rhinox is really strong. Wow. Yep. And the bridge can hold like 5,000 kilograms.
And Megatron is all like, "This is our opportunity. Yes, all weapons."
And I'm like, what were you doing before? Why have you let them do this? And they come up from behind cover, behind the rocks. There's more rocks now, by the way.
Also, the platform that they were on has gotten drastically larger.
Oh, maybe the platform they were on before was that one in the background, of that cliff in the background, and they moved forward? Maybe?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And, like, he says, now all weapons, and I'm like, why haven't you been shooting the entire time? Guys, whatever.
I mean, to be fair, like, now this is like a really good opportunity for them now, because now all of the Maximals and Dinobot are all on the bridge together.
That's fair. Now they can, instead of just taking two out. Good point.
They can take them all out. And now they finally decide to shoot the bridge.
This is some like cartoonic, like video game logic. How it's falling and crumbling from one side to the other. I'm sure that's how real bridges collapse.
Oh yeah.
One pixel at one polygon at a time from one side to the other.
Yeah, and they just like crumble and drop straight down.
Yep. in individual pieces.
I was going to say in a segmented fashion. That's how physics and gravity works.
That's exactly how. The bridge wouldn't collapse because of like weight. It would just crumble from the side that was shot with a missile.
But yeah, so in some video gamey shit, they're like running to the other side of the bridge, trying to get to the other side as the bridge crumbles behind them.
Slow motion. We get some sweet slow motion.
Yep. Rat Trap's trailing behind, and of course he falls in a dramatic kind of way.
And he dies. No?
Unfortunately not. Because Optimus, ever the hero that he is, just in the nick of time, reaches his hand out and grabs Rat Trap's hand.
Yes, he do.
And pulls him up.
Rat Trap says some Rat Trap bullshit.
Yep. He says nothing. And Optimus is like, "You're welcome." And he's all like, "You're the leader. It's your jab."
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, the last episode, he was like questioning, like frequently. I don't think we addressed this much, but he was frequently questioning Optimus's ability to lead. The last episode.
And now he's like, "Well, you're the leader. It's your job."
Yeah. Why should I thank you for just doing as you do?
Okay. And then we cut to fucking. I missed this the first time we had watched it and talked about this.
Yeah.
But this, because you had mentioned it, and I'm like, what? I don't remember that. And fuck, that kills me. So Megatron, it cuts to a scene. I don't know why they stopped shooting. But it cuts to a scene, and Pterosaur is in his pterodactyl form. For some reason, everyone else is in robot form. Or was. And he's just standing there, looking at the Maximals. Just not moving. And Megatron's behind him.
And Megatron lets out this like angry grunt and just like smacks fucking clocks Pterosaur.
What? I understand like it's fun to just like smack cronies around, but like that's so perplexing.
Yeah, I think I remember like I was like cracking up when in the original version of this episode that we recorded months ago. And yeah, you had missed it, and I was just like, no, it's just hilarious. I think I'm just gonna insert audio of it into
That's good. Please do. Because they both scream, like Megatron roars, and like Pterosaur's like, ah! I love Pterosaur.
He's he's a treat.
He's a thing. Go ahead.
All of the Predacons, other than Tarantulas, who is just a creepy, disgusting weirdo, are all like delightful in their own way.
They're either like dumb, like Scorponok. Scorponok is perplexing. He's weird dumb. Do you know what I mean? Like smart dumb? Like he's a scientist. We eventually find out, but like he also barely grasps like simple motivations of others. He's not fully functional, is what I'm trying to say. And like Pterosaur is like Weasley and cowardly.
Tarantulas is coming, and something's chasing him.
His tail. It's just there's lots of weird moments, and then you're like, this guy's a scientist. Pterosaur is, I don't know what, he's Pterosaur. He's cowardly, ambitious, oddly ambitious for a coward. For anyone like familiar with older generations, he's basically Starscream.
Yeah, like he even kind of sounds like Starscream.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, interesting.
He does. Geez. Just like you said, other than Tarantulas, would probably be a serial killer if he wasn't part of this. If he wasn't part of the Predacons. They're all like comical in their own way. Yeah. Almost like I almost really, really want to see a Three Stooges bit with Pterosaur, Scorponok, and Waspinator.
Oh man.
Who would be who though?
I've never actually seen any Three Stooges stuff. Obviously, I know of them because they're like one of the most famous comedy acts in history. But
I know they're Larry, Curly, and Moe, but
yeah,
which ones are they again? Shit. I know Moe was did he have the bowl cut? Yes. And so yeah, he had the bowl cut and he was the like was he supposed to be the smart one? Curly had the curly hair. And Larry had the frazzly. No. Wait, yeah, Larry had
was the other
sorry,
guy.
Curly had no hair. That's right.
Okay.
So I'm guessing, let's see. The dumbest one is Curly. So Waspinator would be Curly. Who's the most ambitious? Probably Moe. Yes. So Scorponok would be Larry, and Pterosaur would be Moe. Yeah, I'm going with that.
Well, hopefully some listeners out there understand the reference.
Thanks for listening to our Three Stooges podcast, everybody, where we barely understand or can comprehend the show Three Stooges. And Megatron bonked them on the head, and he says, "Incompetent fools, who let them escape?" And Waspinator goes, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop," and goes to poke Curly in the eyes, and he blocks it with the hand. He goes, "Nyah, nyah, nyah."
And so Scorponok is like, Megatron, look up there, the missiles.
In the sky, it's the missiles.
So the missiles that
So
they shot
clearly don't go as fast as I thought. You're right, Christopher. They're the slowest missiles in the world. I don't know why I thought. Fuck, in the sky, it's the missiles. But the missiles are invisible to the viewer, and they haven't hit anything yet.
Well,
But he can see them.
maybe he's using his Magno eyes.
Well, I guess when you have cross-country missiles, you can track them.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, look at that. We cracked it, everybody. He goes, Megatron, the missiles! And he points at a mountain and nothing is there. There's no missiles.
Oh man.
Excuse me. I don't know why I'm dying from how dumb that is. He points to a mountain. There's no missiles in sight. There's nothing. It's just a mountain. And then there's an explosion twice as big as the mountain. And not only does the mountain explode, this is a gigantic mountain. Half of the mountain explodes. I want to know what these missiles are made of. But maybe my answer will be questioned when the big E energy is making me insane. There are gigantic purple glowing crystals inside the exposed mountain.
Yeah, so this mountain apparently was hollow on the inside, but filled with energon crystals.
Yep.
Because that's how rock works.
That's exactly how crystal forms and leaves caverns. And Megatron's like, yes! Raw, natural energon crystal.
I knew it was here! And he starts shorting out. And is all like, quickly! Back to beast mode, assholes! They all transform.
And they do.
Yep.
So far on the show, we've seen that you need a voice command to transform into your robot form, but they don't need to say anything to transform back into their beast mode, which is kind of interesting.
Yep. I mean, they can say beast mode, but they don't have to, it seems.
Oh, you're right. They can, yeah. Sometimes they do.
And sometimes they don't.
There's mysterious, mystical music playing.
Yeah, and Optimus is like, raw energon. In its natural form, it's highly unstable. We're lucky those missiles didn't cause it to explode. So I want
And
to...
I'm like, what did we just see, bro? Didn't the mountain just explode?
So
Do we have different definitions of explosions?
I want to talk about Energon for a moment, as someone who fairly recently rewatched some early episodes of G1.
Uh-huh.
So in this episode, and indeed in this series, this planet that they're on has naturally occurring unstable Energon crystals.
Giant, like, glowing crystals.
Yep. And it is a natural element that
That occurs.
that occurs.
And I think G1 uses energon cubes as a form of energy.
Yep.
Okay.
And so in G1, the Transformers use energon cubes, and how they are created is they are created out of a pumping oil into these wireframe energy cubes that just form out of Soundwave's chest.
What?
Yep. So,
Some sort of black liquid? A mystery liquid? Grinded out of crystals? No?
it seems like Energon is in G1. Energon is a thing that is just created using some sort of fuel element, like oil.
Like black oily substance?
Yeah, like straight up oil. They attack like an oil tanker
What?
and
Huh.
and
Huh.
and take a hose from this tanker and plug it into these like wireframe cubes that Soundwave conjures up, and pump them full of oil, and then they compress them down, and once they mush them down, they become energon cubes.
Well, diamonds are made out of carbon, and coal is made of carbon, and crude oil is made of carbon. Maybe they crush them down with such immense heat and pressure, they turn them into crystal, their crystallized form, turn them into diamonds.
With their bare hands.
With their gorilla hands. Wait, they're not animals on that. They're with their robot hands. Yeah? No? Okay, I don't know. There's not a lot of science that goes behind Transformers. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like pushing up their glasses. They're like, "How dare you?"
Some guy with a script in hand for like this episode of Beast Wars, but also like old episodes of Transformers, and he's
And
like,
he's worked out the science.
yeah, and he's like, well, actually, I'll have you know.
I'm sure he exists,
I'm sure he does.
and he probably has an original character named Jeremy. We can only imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
Moving onwards. We're lucky those missiles didn't cause the mountain to explode.
Yep.
Yeah. If you can call it lucky.
Yeah, and speaking of Magno Eyes, Cheetor does that and notices the Predacons marching and flying toward the mountain. And Dinobot is like, he's after the Energon. It's like, no shit, Tips.
So I feel like this is a theme. Dinobot likes to say the very obvious thing that is happening. And not right now, but it kind of becomes this thing where other characters say, yeah, duh.
Yeah, and that's basically what Rat Trap does. And then he's just like, Rhinox, scrap this guy.
Oh yes, it is usually Rat Trap that does that.
And Rhinox actually goes to like charge at Dinobot, and I'm like,
He
dude,
goes to charge
really?
at him.
Really? Why?
And listening to Rat Trap of all people.
Yeah. Fortunately, Optimus intervenes. And Optimus is like, will you send flyers?
So Waspinator and Pterosaur.
Yeah.
Terrorsaur.
Tigertron.
Rhinobot.
Gorilla man.
Tarantula man, eh?
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So Rat Trap's like, hey, you're gonna believe him over me?
And what he
And
actually
Optimus
says
like,
is,
yes.
he's like, oh man, for booting up cold. Which is kind of funny.
That's some reboot slang
Kind of,
thrown
yeah.
in there. Yeah.
That's some computer
Mainframe loves
Indian.
computer puns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Computer jokes, references, and just made up jargon.
Yep.
And he's like, you're gonna trust him over me?
Bunch
And Optimus nicely says,
of
that's
fop
my call.
doodles, the lot of them.
A bunch of fop doodles. And Optimus turns to Dinobot, and he's like, that's my call, and beats his chest like a gorilla, which is a nice way of saying, yeah, Rat Trap, I do trust him more than you.
Yep. I mean, what has Rat Trap really done thus far? He's just been an annoying, insufferable little shit. Whereas
And
Dinobot,
untrustworthy.
yeah, and Dinobot, like, sure, Dinobot tried to kill him, but he has been very honorable and dignified about everything thus far.
He would never just shoot someone in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, upon questioning, Dinobot's like, oh, well, those crystals are too big for the flyers to carry. And only Tarantulas has the skill to segment it. So cutting them into smaller parts, perhaps into smaller cubes.
Yep. Apparently that's only something tarantulas can do.
Which makes him begrudgingly necessary for... I'm starting to understand why Megatron lets Tarantulas kind of like do his own thing.
That's
He's like...
yeah, when Megatron was assembling his crew of cronies back on Cybertron, that's why he hired Tarantulas.
Yeah, that makes sense now. After watching this a bit, that that makes sense to me.
Like, I feel like imagine, in like heist films where there's always like a series of scenes where like they're getting a team together and like somebody has to like go and meet different people at various different exotic locales to try and convince them to tell them what the job is and try and convince them to join. And so like Megatron goes to this weird like BDSM club, seedy BDSM club, and there's Tarantulas just like off in a dark corner.
Being suspended by like hooks.
Yeah.
Why have you thought about this? Why did I add to your story? And he's like, really? Him? He's the only one in this quadrant that can segment energon crystals.
There's like a yellow-breasted like dominatrix transformer with like a cat o' nine tails like tweaking Tarantulas' nipples.
And she has like big metallic like boobs.
Yep.
There's a character that is real, listeners, if you're watching along with us for the first time. We're just actually describing a real character. So don't get mad at us if we seem like we're inventing Transformers.
Some Rule 34 Transformers shit.
Not even. It's on the show. There's a tickle bitty character on the show. Maybe.
And so
We'll
Rat
see.
Trap is like, we're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die, and he calls him Chopper Face.
Yep.
And so they go on their amazing journey, and Optimus's legs are bugged the fuck out. Check that out.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Did you see that?
Oh,
of him. Yeah?
Oh, how did I
That
not
is-
see this?
That is messed up.
Wow.
That doesn't even look like a gorilla.
Oh my god, listeners, go to like
Oh no, on Tubi, which is where I'm watching it, Tubi.com. It's like a TV show, free streaming thing.
tubi.tv.
At around what, 11,
11:16.
13, 11:15 ish.
Yeah.
They're all walking away and they leave Rat Trap behind. Optimus is having there's some problems.
Yeah, go to the bit where in the episode where Rat Trap is like, you mean Chopper Face is coming with? We're all gonna die. And then he's all like, hey, wait for me, as they're walking away. Look at Optimus's legs as they walk away. That's
bad.
There is something like, I keep going back and watching it too, because
Me too.
like
This is like the 7th time
there's something weirdly creepy about it.
So the back of his legs are like morphed, and they're not just going through the ground. It's like they animated him to look like he was farther behind, but instead of them actually putting him on the texture of the ground, they hovered him higher up to make him look like he's walking ahead of the group. But because he's higher up, and maybe their skeleton of their models is connected to the ground, his feet are like stretching and his legs are stretching and morphing to touch the ground.
Yeah, and like they're not even moving as he's like they're
just
his butt's kind of just waddling as he walks, but his legs aren't moving at all.
Oh, none of them are actually moving forward. They're all walking in place.
Yeah.
It's just a trick of the eye. Yeah. None of them are actually walking forward. Cool. Oh no, they're kind of. No, it's just Optimus that's bugged out.
Yeah.
Weird. But speaking of bad animation, we move to good animation because I actually think this like Predacon march is shot really well.
Yeah, it's a really good transition too. Like there's a smash cut to Megatron's T-Rex foot stomping down, and we see
the camera even like shakes with each of his steps.
Yeah, and it pans around to beside his body, and then the camera starts following him. And Megatron, in a like hilariously almost orgasmic way, is like, so much ENERGON.
Yes.
Yeah.
With a crystal that size, I could do wonders. And he starts like moving his little T-Rex like hands, like touching his T-Rex nipples. Yes, that's the biggest crystal I've ever seen.
I bet I could take it all. Yes.
Take it all back to Cybertron with me. Back it up. So yeah, he gets really excited about the Predacon forces becoming unstoppable.
Yeah.
First the Maximals, and then the galaxy.
Yeah, I was actually like jokingly going to be all like, first the Maximals, and then the world.
The world.
Just as a joke, but no, he basically says that.
Better, the galaxy, man. I hear there's quite a few worlds in the galaxy, but he's thinking small. He's not thinking universe, or maybe he's just realistic. Oh, it's nighttime.
Yep.
Oh, this looks pretty. The shot of the mountain with the glowing crystals at night. Those moons look different from each other.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, sorry, the
Listeners,
Maximals are on.
listeners,
Go ahead.
the whole 2 moon thing and them looking different and being different from one another, that might be on the test later. So take note.
That's right. Take notes or just completely forget. Either way, we'll remind you.
So yeah, they're walking on the side of this mountain, and Rhinox asks Optimus how he's feeling, and Optimus is all like, good, better. I believe my internal repairs have been completed. And
Yeah.
Rhinox is like, oh, well, maybe you should transform and fly up there, because your flying robot form could make it to the crystal before any of us. And Optimus is
Good point.
no, we have to stay together. The Predacons could attack at any moment. And there may be other surprises on this planet.
And speaking of surprises,
and Rhinox is like,
There are down there. Look, it's Stonehenge.
and then we cut to like a more complete, basically Stonehenge.
yep.
Like Stonehenge if it was only like 100 years old instead of, Christopher, how old is Stonehenge?
4 million years.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
And yeah, so Optimus is like, interesting. Any thoughts? And Rhinox, being the fucking science guy that he is like, just one. It isn't natural. It's like, really?
Congratulations.
That
Rhinox.
that very calculated stone formation didn't occur naturally. So I assume everyone listening to this knows what Stonehenge looks like, but if in the off chance you don't, Google a picture of it.
It's like, I don't know, like Dawn of Mankind old, right? Like 5,000 years old-ish.
Yeah.
But it's like impossible to tell exactly how old.
I'm just
3,000? 5,000? Going with 5,000. That feels like a long time, though.
9,000.
It's over 5,000.
Stonehenge. And the demons dwell.
We're helping the audience learn with us.
I'm
going
8,000 years ago.
8,000. Well, close enough, I suppose.
Yeah, and you didn't go over, so you win.
Unless somebody got closer to me. If you're listening and you got closer to 8,000 and you were over 5,000, congratulations, you win.
Yeah, well, I guessed 4 million, so.
So basically, I was like that dude that bet $1 when everyone else bet too high.
Yep. Essentially.
That's great. 4 million years old. Well, like, aren't humans only like 50-ish thousand?
Uh,
I have. This isn't my area of expertise.
You know what? I did study anthropology in university, but I didn't finish, and it was also a very long time ago.
And it's boring.
I think modern humans are about 45,000 years old. And
So I was kind of close, but I did go over.
And our I think our most like genetically similar predecessors go back like
Hundreds of thousands.
140,000 years.
Wow, that's still relatively young. Dinosaurs were around millions of years.
4 million years.
Yeah, maybe. Well, hey, there aren't dinosaurs alive on this planet.
Okay, so there is actually a reason why I keep saying 4 million years.
Yeah, what is that?
It's related to something that might come up later in the show.
Oh, I thought you were like relating it to a song or something.
No.
Oh, okay. 4 million years. Well, I'll remember that. I like how Optimus here, like, like rubs his like gorilla chin, and he's like, interesting. Any opinions?
Yeah.
Like turns to him, and like you had said, he's like, just one. It isn't natural. We didn't build it, and neither did the Predacons. But, bro, you're getting dumber by the second. I like how he's like, well, it isn't natural, and then he follows it up with an even dumber statement. We didn't build it, and neither did the Predacons.
Well, it's like,
You've
of
been
course.
on the planet for like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's like, well, of course they know they didn't fucking build it, and the Predacons haven't had time to. They just got there.
I feel like that's a big bruh moment.
Speaking of which, Waspinator and Pterosaur show up.
They do, to harass them. They're zip-zop zooping around.
Yeah, they terrorize, start shooting.
Yeah, they terrorize, shoot. There's some, the Maximals do their own. I think they do their own roll call, or do they maximize all together?
Yeah, they just all transform together.
Oh yeah, none of them even say maximize. It's cool though, the shot panning across as they maximize.
Yeah.
And they shoot it out.
Yeah, and Optimus is like defensive position, and Rat Trap already has a gun pointed at Dinobot for whatever reason.
So now he pulls the gun on Dinobot when they're being attacked by the Predacons that'll actually shoot at them.
Yeah, it's like time and a place, bro.
That's weird. Especially when he seems to want to help them for now.
Yeah, I mean, at least in this exact situation, like them working together is like mutually beneficial.
Yes.
So
also, Dinobot's not like, okay, so you could say, if you asked Megatron, he would say Dinobot is treacherous, but he's not, what's the word I'm looking for? He's not conniving. He's not, he won't betray anybody. His treachery is in the form of, hey, I think you're a shit leader. I want to fight you for the position of leader. I feel like this is misplaced, but again, we know Dinobot better than Rat Trap does.
Yeah. He's just ambitious, you know? And a usurper.
Yeah, but I feel like if someone proves themselves to him, that's different. Like in my mind, Megatron failed when he made that call to just mess with the Maximals in that first opening shot of part 1.
Yeah, that is a pretty big blunder on his part. Because I mean, if he hadn't done that, show would be over.
Yeah, and they'd win the Beast Wars once and for all
before they even began.
Before they were even named the Beast Wars,
which they still haven't been.
That is true.
Yep.
And they don't have time to hash it out because, surprise, surprise, the Predacons, Waspinator and Pterosaur, are shooting at them.
Yep. And Optimus like super apes away to fight them in the air. And
probably the best decision given how they're in a cave.
Yeah. And Optimus has some shoulder cannons that he shoots at the flyers, who start shorting out very quickly. Probably because they're relatively close to the mountain now.
Oh, I never thought about that. They're closer to a very large deposit of energon.
Yeah.
I like his, are they missiles or like photon cannons? Oh, it's a missile.
Yeah, they're missiles.
Yeah, shoulder missiles. Cool.
So
he got them.
Yeah, so Waspinator and Pterosaur accomplished like literally nothing by doing this. So
it slowed them down, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So they decide to fuck off, and Dinobot's all like, now, while they are weak, and eye lasers. But
there's some big brain moment here.
Yeah, he eye lasers through the rock and accidentally
causes like a landslide and a large boulder to come loose from the ceiling of the cave, almost crushing Rhinox.
Yep. And Oh.
Bless you, sir.
Oh. Yeah, Rat Trap ain't having any of that.
Rat Trap has some gigantic rat-sized balls. Because, for anybody listening, if you've ever owned like a rodent, rats have. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that sounds contradictory. Gigantic rat-sized balls.
So rats have testicles bigger than their fucking head.
Oh.
If any of you out there listening have rodents, particularly rats, they have fucking huge balls. And that's funny because Rat Trap on the show has gigantic balls.
Balls bigger than his head.
Balls bigger than my head. I need a separate compartment just in my leg to carry them. Oh, compartments. There you go. That's what he uses his leg compartments for.
Yeah, balls bigger than my brain.
Yeah, you want to see them? My brain's exposed, but I took away my balls. Jesus. Anyways, he walks up to Dinobot. By the way, much smaller than Dinobot.
Yeah.
Thus the balls. And says, I knew it, you traitor. You tried to scrap my pal.
Yeah, and he like leaps onto him and then puts a gun.
Impressed, yeah.
Then puts a gun to his head and is all like, once a pred, always a pred. And Optimus comes back and is all like,
easy boy, easy.
Whoa there, Rat Trap. It was an accident. And Rat Trap's all like, says you. And Optimus is like, fucking rights.
Gets up right in his face and he's like, you want to question my orders again?
Yeah, he taps him on the shoulder.
Pushes him on the chest, yeah.
Or, yeah,
Buddy?
He taps him on the chest and is all like, one more time. And then Rat Trap backs down. And he like hems and haws and he's like, I don't trust Predacons.
And like jabs Dinobot a few more times with his fucking gun.
Yeah. And then Dinobot,
I love that scene,
scowls and just like pushes the gun away from his face.
And there's kind of like a slow shot as the camera pans out and the sound of like metallic, like hydraulics almost.
Yeah.
As Dinobot's picking himself up and standing to full height. And you see that he's actually twice as big as Rat Trap.
Well, and
he
even
looms over him.
Yeah, he's even looming down, so he's not even standing up completely straight. And even here, he's basically like twice Rat Trap size.
Whoa, Jesus Christ! I'm looking at this. I paused it.
Yeah.
Why does he look like 3 times as big as Rat Trap? Holy cow!
Yeah, he's at least twice as tall and like
4 times as massive.
I was gonna say it has like
he's got thick legs.
5 times the body mass.
Wow, Dinobot's like thigh looks thinner than Rat Trap's thicker than Rat Trap's chest.
Wow.
Wow, that speaking of weird size discrepancies in the show. Wow, Jesus Christ. Oh, I guess that is how big he is.
Yeah, I feel like, so we get a shot here of all of the Maximals standing next to one another, and I feel like this is pretty accurate. Like, this is pretty consistent.
That's true. Yeah, Rat Trap is small. Yeah, that's fair. It was just the camera angle, I guess, that made Dinobot look freaking gigantic, but I mean, he is gigantic compared to Rat Trap.
Yeah. Well, and he is the biggest of them, easily.
Yes.
Rhinox being
the chunkiest.
Yeah. But even Rhinox isn't as tall as Dinobot anyway.
Not quite, no. Wider. Not as tall. So Optimus is like, quit screwing around. You screw around too much. And we cut back to the mountain. This is hilarious. Watching the Predacons walk up the side of the mountain.
Yeah, I was just watching.
That's the weirdest shot ever.
Look at Pterosaur.
What the heck? Why would he be?
He's like doing this like hop. He's doing his little hop. up the side of the mountain.
Why can't he like hover fly like Wasp? That is weird. I can't. I rewind. I've watched this like 4 times now. That is so weird. It does not look like it's from Beast Wars. It looks like it's from some other cartoon. Animal Adventures.
This is another thing that I've never noticed before.
That very awkward like march up the mountain.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad we came back to rewatch this. And that's just a taste of how awkward Pterosaur moves on this show. Right? Yes, I could almost taste its power.
And Tarantulas is like, the Energon will destroy us in less than a minute. We must stay in beast form. And the Maximals are coming.
I thought they were much farther ahead than the Maximals.
So did I, but I guess not.
Because the Flyers went off and maybe they had different routes to take.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Megatron's like, well, we have to stay in beast form, but so must the Maximals.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll take Optimus personally.
And so Optimus, you know what I'm laughing about. So we cut to
we mentioned Optimus has pretty great faces, and this is the first one where I've almost been in like tears. It's probably gonna be the show art.
Yeah, so Optimus sticks his hand up over the edge and like pokes his head up over the side and just gets this like really like dazed like look of wonder.
You know when a kid like accidentally, not on purpose because they know they're bad, accidentally finds his Christmas presents? Amazing.
Man. Yeah.
He has his eyes go wide and he's got this like huge smile that like stretches across his face, and he's got like weird sharp little like gorilla teeth going on. I love it.
So he climbs up, and on the exact opposite side, Megatron shows up and lets out a roar and is joined by his Predacon cronies, and then Optimus is joined by his Maximal buddies and Dinobot.
Yeah, and Dinobot.
And Dinobot.
Dinobot was there too. So there's kind of like a face-off as they're approaching the crystals at the same time, and they're in this like cave, kind of like exposed mountain surrounded by the crystals. And this is letting the viewers know that as long as they're in their beast forms, they can get close to them.
Yeah.
It's in their robot forms where it's a problem.
Yeah. Which, seems it's
fine. What are you talking about?
Practical, I was going to say. Because they can still like collect Energon and stuff as long as they stay in their beast form.
Yeah, as long as they're in their disguise forms.
Yeah, they're as robots in disguise.
I gotta tell you,
robots in the skies.
If Cheetor can't fool 2 cheetahs that look exactly like him, almost like they have the same character model, I don't think any of them are fooling any of the animals.
But Optimus, Pterosaur, and Waspinator are robots in the skies.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Pterosaur is a robot that tells lies. And Tarantulas is a robot we despise.
Waspinator is a robot that stings flies.
Jesus. And Dinobot is a robot that hangs out with these guys? I don't know. I got nothing.
And Rhinox is a robot that secretly cries.
Yeah.
I don't know how
And
much.
Cheetor's a robot who just really tries.
uh, and Rat Trap is a ninja living in the sewer who wields size.
I think that's a good time to move on. I'm like, what the heck? Who was that? Was that Raphael?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Splinter, but I mean size rhymes. So, well, somebody had to train those turtles, right?
Right?
So I assume that Master Splinter can use. This is now a TMNT podcast, everyone. I assume that Master Splinter is a master with all of the weapons that he taught the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, you would have to be.
Yeah, because they're very proficient with their weapons. But
Yeah.
you don't just learn, like, as somebody who made nunchucks in shop class, trust me, you don't get good unless you get training. It's
Yeah.
like with anything, you don't, like, yes, practice makes perfect, but if you don't know how to do something, you're going to mess it up.
Right.
Apparently Optimus and Megatron know how to wrestle.
Yeah, so Megatron says some shit and Optimus is like, "Let's do it. That's Prime." And he
Yeah.
roars and they charge at one another.
Face to face, tooth to claw. Yeah.
Yeah, they charge at one another and comically like smash into one another and go flying like
Fuck yeah.
like a bowling ball hitting a bunch of bowling pins.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. They all collide, the camera's zooming back and forth. This is hype. Like,
yeah.
this is great.
Pterosaur like actually like Taro like Matadors Rhinox hilariously.
Yeah, because Rhinox just kept charging straight through.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Matador.
Yeah, and Tarantulas is like using one of his wings as like a matador cape, essentially. Toro, and then he, as Rhinox is charging toward him, he like pulls his wing out of the way, and Rhinox like charges
Literally.
right through a rock. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's stupid, but it's hilarious.
Cheetor like pounces and actually catches Waspinator, so there's some revenge for him.
Yeah,
from part 1. Like
Scorponok,
Dinobot are
yeah, they have a back and forth.
They're kind of afraid to touch each other. Like, because look at them. Like, one's a velociraptor with like sharp teeth and like claws that'll cut you across the belly and spill out your intestines. And there's another little Jurassic Park reference. And Scorponok is presumably venomous. Freaking giant scorpion. So they're both kind of just snapping at each other. Whereas I feel the others are straight up brawling. Oh my god, the punch sound effect. When Scorponok punches Dinobot.
Speaking of Scorponok, real quick, one thing I should have brought this up during Beast Wars Part 1, but one thing I noticed that I've never really noticed before was that Scorponok isn't just a like giant version of a scorpion in the way that like Rat Trap is a unnaturally large rat.
Right.
When the DNA sequencer was scanning, when it scanned the mountain for the fossils for the
and the insects and the arachnids and stuff.
Yeah, when it was doing that scanning, when it scanned the mountain that had the fossils in it, it had fossils of a T-Rex, a pterodactyl, and a large scorpion.
I thought it. Oh.
Yeah.
So he's like an extinct or like a prehistoric scorpion, which makes sense why he's so weird looking.
Yeah.
Like his tail has like spikes all over it, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a barb. Oh.
Yeah,
so his is from a fossil.
Yeah.
And it shows two insects that are scanned, or bugs or something that are scanned. And what was it? A wasp is like fighting a spider.
Yeah,
Is that
tarantula.
it?
Yeah.
Which makes sense because wasps. I think there are. What is it? Hawk moth. A tarantula hawk moth hornet. No, damn it! What are they called? There's something called like a hoth moth. There. A hawk moth hornet, I think. It's not or a wasp. And what it does is it goes and it stings a spider or a tarantula, right? But it doesn't kill it. It like it's paralytic, right? Makes it kind of woozy. It drags the tarantula like to its like burrow, right? When it's in the burrow, it embeds its eggs in the body of the tarantula, and the tarantula or the spider is just it's called a tarantula hawk moth, I think. I might be completely wrong. I'm gonna Google it after, or during while I'm talking, actually. Anyways, and it puts its eggs inside of it, and the tarantula, like, it's kind of like brain dead now. Maybe the wasp or the hornet even buries it, and yeah, it just stays there, and its larva will eat the live spider.
This reminds me of a scene from The Mist.
Here's an I could be completely full of shit about this part, but I think it eats the non-important parts of the body so that the tarantula stays alive longer,
Yeah.
and only after it dies it eats the vital organs.
Nature is terrifying.
Yeah. How about that for some shit? It's called a tarantula hawk. Oh, it's just called a tarantula hawk. Kept adding an extra word to it. And it is a type of spider wasp. A type of wasp that, yeah, lays its eggs in spiders. Weird that it's called a tarantula hawk. And it's neither a tarantula nor a hawk.
I mean, there's precedence for that.
It flies like a hawk, and it lays its eggs in tarantulas.
Yeah, weird.
Anyways, if you didn't know that, listeners, or Christopher, there's some more terrifying, disgusting things about the Predacons.
Yep. And
I don't know why I felt like talking about that. I thought it was creepy.
It is. So the battle continues. Megatron gets on top of Optimus and is straight up trying to like bite his face.
That is intense.
Yeah, and Optimus is like holding him off with his bare hands.
With his gorilla hands?
His gorilla bear hands.
Barely able to hold back Megatron's like head, like as he's trying to bite his face.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But he's able to kick Megatron off of them. And Megatron like goes flying and into some rocks and gets his head stuck.
Oh yeah. I feel like he should have like ran and like gorilla punched him here. But it's Optimus we're talking about, right? So he's like, surrender, Megatron, you're trapped.
Yeah. And Megatron's like, no, fuck you.
Fuck you, buddy.
Breaks free and charges toward Optimus. And like and the camera like is fixed on Megatron's back as he's charging toward Optimus. It's a pretty cool shot.
This whole fight is phenomenal. Even with Rat Trap like riding Tarantulas like a like a bull. Man, poor Optimus.
Yeah, Megatron
slams Optimus into like solid rock like pillar.
Yeah, leaving a dent in the rock.
Yeah, like these are robots. These aren't flesh and blood.
Yeah,
like he's like like an anime. He's like embedded in this stone pillar.
And then Megatron fucking bites Optimus's leg so bad that he exposes his underlying circuitry.
And Optimus cries out in pain.
Yeah.
It's kind of distressing, yeah. Oh yeah, you can see his circuitry and like glowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Optimus like axe handles Megatron in the head, and he does a backflip somehow, even though he punched him downwards. And this is some King Kong like shit going on here. He picks Megatron up by the tail and spins around and just fucking like tosses Megatron on the other side of the cavern, bouncing against the wall. It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, holy shit. Optimus is strong as fuck.
Yep. He's a tough boy.
I like how Optimus falls over, clutching his leg in pain, like he's trembling. It hurts so much, and
Yeah. His
he
eyes like
bluffs-
roll into the back of his head.
Yeah, and the biggest bluff in the entire show. He's like, "It's over, Megatron," and I'm like,
And for some
do you think
reason,
you won?"
Megatron, despite clearly having the advantage right now, Megatron decides to transform. Even though, like, we know this will spell certain doom for him. And he's all like, "It is never over, no, for if I must die, I shall take you with me." And I'm like, dude, you're winning.
Yeah. I mean, maybe his internals were fucked up when he got thrown by Optimus, but like Optimus is on the ground. He's like clutching his leg in agony.
Yeah.
Like, you got it, man. And another weird, curious thing, he's like, "For if I must die, I shall take you with me." What do you mean, you must die? Bro, who's saying you must die? Optimus just said it's over. Like, the fight's over. Like, stop.
Yeah, and the Maximals aren't gonna kill you. They'll take you
No.
prisoner.
Yeah, they'll take you prisoner. Disarm you, like, whatever, but they're not going to kill you. So, and not only that, like you said, he's not losing. So if he say, what is he talking about here? For if I must die, I shall take you with me. Maybe Megatron. Well, we discuss it in further episodes, perhaps, but I feel like he's a little bit on the dramatic side,
Yeah.
if you will. Perhaps he's a fan of Shakespeare. It's all or nothing. Half the characters have to die by the end of the play.
Yeah. Yeah, so Megatron transforms, starts shorting out immediately, shoots a missile at Optimus. The camera is fixed behind the missile as it, in slow motion, as it speeds toward Optimus. And then we just see Dinobot slowly and casually run into frame and then run past and then very daintily smack the missile with his tail.
Barely moving it out of the way, like it misses him by a hair.
Yeah.
But he changes the trajectory.
Yeah, slightly altering the missile's trajectory. And so instead of hitting Optimus, it like goes behind him and hits some energon.
Oh, it's gonna blow! And everyone looks shifty-eyed and scared.
Yeah.
And Cheetor says some Cheetor bullshit.
Time to fade, heroes. Megatron's already dying.
I don't understand why he did that.
I don't either.
If I can't win, nobody does.
And like
he
I
just
said,
kind of like,
dude, you're already you were winning.
Yeah. And also, why did he think he has to die? But anyways, whatever. We're butthurt.
Yeah.
I'm butthurt about that line, but he's not moving, so presumably he's starting to be he's starting to take damage from the energon.
Yeah, it looks like he's dying.
And the camera even zooms in. He looks like he's dying. He's on his back now. When he was standing before, could have ran away, and his eyes even fade to black.
So everyone runs away. The the Energon is like getting more intense, like charging up, and
The screen is shaking. Yeah.
yeah, it's making this like whirling sound, and just as it's about to
Two
explode,
revives.
Megatron gets up into frame and yells like, "Oh!"
It runs and jumps off of the mountain and falls down the side of it.
Yeah, just in the nick of time.
What a dramatic bitch. He faked his own death. And then he's like, actually, if I'm the only one dying, I'd rather not.
That's a good point.
This time the mountain really explodes.
Yep.
There's rubble falling. Just for a little bit.
So the Maximals actually got surprisingly far away. Also, it is daytime now.
Yeah, it's daytime now. So I guess that took all night. And they're like multiple kilometers away from the mountain.
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah, Optimus is like, hey, thanks, buddy. To Dinobot.
And Dinobot's like,
I ain't your buddy, guy.
yeah, I ain't your buddy. I owed you my life. Now we're even. And Optimus is like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, okay. I'll accept that.
And Rat Trap is like, at least Megatron's gone, and so is the Energon. So is Nova. Can we go home now? Implying
no,
that they're,
Trap.
even though last episode it's like, we know they're stuck there.
Oh, the ship's broken.
Yeah.
Right. What's he talking about? Yeah. So to remind
Shut
him,
up, Rat Trap.
Shut up. I wish that was a recurring line from Optimus, but he's too nice for that. Shut up, Rat. I'll always remember part 1 when somebody actually told Rat Trap to shut up.
Yeah.
But he says, no, Rat Trap. For now, we're stranded here with the Predacons. Oh, sorry, on this unknown planet. Which is funny since we just saw Stonehenge.
Yep.
And he's like, Megatron might not be dead, and there's still more Energon.
We have to do something about it.
Yeah, if they ever get enough, they could conquer the goddamn galaxy.
So for now, let the battle be here, on this strange, primitive world, and let it be called... And then he throws a fist in the air and looks up into the sky and yells, Beast Wars! And the camera zooms out with like a rockin' guitar riff.
Isn't that pretty fucking hype?
It is!
That end speech? So now we do war on this primitive planet, and we call it Beast Wars! And there's just a fucking, like, rad electric guitar riff.
It's so 90s in like the most hype way possible.
As the camera like zooms out from them from on the mountain, it actually only shows Optimus and Dinobot. They didn't render any of the other Maximals there. And I'm like, where'd they go?
Also, the mountain has no longer been hollowed out. It's just now just a like scorched looking volcano.
Energon will do that to you. And that's it. We got Beast Wars, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. The start of something truly special.
Any closing statements for Beast Wars Part 2?
So, on the Too Much Energon rating scale, where we rate episodes on a scale of not enough Energon, which can be anything from, the worst episode ever to, not that great, to sufficient Energon, which is, it's okay, to, pretty good, to Too Much Energon, which is anything from, holy shit, that was a great episode, to literally the best episode ever. On the Too Much Energon scale, I am going to give this a low too much energon.
Oh, so you liked part 1 more.
I think so, yeah.
A lot happens in part 1. That's fair.
Oh.
I'm going to give it a firm too much energon. I thought the final battle was pretty fucking hype.
Yeah, and the battle at the beginning was also pretty dope. One of the best battles in the show. I just feel like the episode kind of drags a little bit in the middle.
It's mostly walking, looking at Stonehenge. Yeah.
Yeah, walking, looking at Stonehenge.
Starts with a great fight, ends with a great fight.
Yeah.
Ends with a gorilla fist thrown into the air.
Yeah. But everything in the middle,
Eh.
That's not to say it's bad. I just I feel it drags a little bit more in the middle than the first episode does.
So yeah, for more tarantula hawk facts and other animal facts, follow us on our animal podcast.
Not a real thing.
You'll learn something every time you listen. It might not be something useful or that you will remember, but god dang it. It'll stick with you.
So that has been Beast Wars Part 2 on Too Much Energon. We will be back next time with the third episode in production order, Chain of Command.
Order.
Yes, in production order.
We'll talk. So we're going to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, it was the 5th episode in U.S. broadcast order. We're going to talk about that in more detail next episode, so stay tuned for that. Best way to support the show. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating. It helps us out with discoverability.
Yeah.
Also, if you like this podcast, tell your friends. If you don't like this podcast, tell your enemies.
Tell your enemies.
Get people you don't like listening to it.
You can send us an email and tell us how we popped up on your Facebook feed is annoying.
Actual thing that happens, so stay tuned. Check out our website, www.toomuchenergon.ca, where you'll find embedded players for every episode, social media links, and so much more.
Yes.
I have been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I am your other host, NeoKal.
And until next time, Beast Mode.
Beast Mode.
Beast Mode! Beast Wars!